Alright then, so I'm pretty sure that many of you guys that clicked on this video are aware that we've got a new Fusion champion kicking off on Thursday the 3rd of August, so this coming Thursday, for the release of Emic Trunkheart, who is going to be a Void Legendary Hybrid Fusion, where you fuse the epics from fragments, and then you turn those epics into the Legendary champion, which is going to be this Sylvan Watcher right here. But in today's video, we are live on the test server to showcase the Fusion epics that will be required in order to get this champion, and briefly speaking about their utility. And then there's also a drop of 2 new legendary champions, one being Void and one being Spirit, and we're going to speak about their fundamentals as well. So I'm actually really excited to showcase these ones, as I feel like they're very unique in a sense, like very creative kits in ways that you can utilize them in so many areas of this game. But I'll speak about my favorite ones throughout all of these. And actually one of them is going to be an epic champion, which if you're not going for the fusion itself, might be one you might want to pick up on if you want to face any kind of bomb or the Dreadhorn, or if simply summon it down the line to pair with your Nishak Verminlord. So we'll speak about Emic a bit later on, but hope everyone's keeping well. Let me know in the comment section below, once you've kind of seen all the champions today, which one is your favorite and which kind of order you want me to showcase these, as I will be breaking them all down in separate videos more in depth. If you stay tuned towards the end of this video as well, I'm going to be showcasing the new clan boss feature, which is going to be like auto in a sense, and how that's going to be working. And I'll also do some gameplay for you guys so you can see the animations of everybody that's discussed in today's video. So, should be pretty cool, right? Some of the animations are pretty nice, some of them are a bit boring, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Okay, so the first one that we're going to discuss is going to be, I'm going to start with one of my favorite ones actually. The one that was in the thumbnail, like more predominantly there. It's going to be Fyr-gun Isbeil. Now, she looks pretty cool, right? I'm not sure if she fits into the theme of Raid. She looks a bit steampunk vibes. I don't know. You guys let me know what you feel about the aesthetics here. Got some big shoulder pads and all of that good stuff. But what matters is the kit. So if we lead into the Eruptive Volley, attacks all enemies and has a 100% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. And then will grant an extra turn if the weaken was placed on all enemies by this skill. Now, why I'm a big fan of this is, for anyone that's familiar with the Nishak Verminlord one-shot strategy for Bomb with the Dreadhorn, you need the weaken to amplify the bomb damage, and then you kind of lead in with Nishak to do some bombs with double ally attack, right? But in order to do this, one of the methods is bringing in an Arbiter, which you would need to build in accuracy, which personally I'm not a big fan of because I always have to regain my Arbiter to get to the accuracy thresholds, whereas I've just got her in more speed without it. But each to their own, I guess. But what I'm going to be doing is placing the weaken on Bommel, right? Leading into the extra turn, and then attacks one enemy 2 times with the Tracer Slugs. The first hit has a 100% chance of placing 2 bomb debuffs that detonate after 2 turns. And then the second it has a 55% chance, bookable up to a 80%, right? 80% chance of applying a debuff spread effect, taking 1 bomb debuff and placing it on all other enemies. Now, this second part is going to be pretty decent for throughout Doom Tower waves or whatever that may be if you need bombs on multiple champions or even arena progression. But I'm just having a look here at this one right here. Places 2 bomb debuffs that detonate after 2 turns, and all bomb debuffs placed by this skill on enemies whose max HP is higher than 200,000 will deal 50% more damage. Now, very similar to Nishak, right? It's like the epic variation coming into effect, but with the weaken extra turn, because in that strategy, the Dread Bomb, haven't actually dropped yet. So you will be placing on all enemies because only Bommel can be affected there, right? But I will be playtesting it once we get a Bommel rotation. It's just not live at the moment, and we've got Eternal Dragon. But for anyone that's, just to get some comparisons here, Nishak Verminlord. Attacks one enemy, 75% chance of placing 2 bomb debuffs on each target, grants an extra turn, and then you kind of lead into this one, right? But it could be really cool to just throw into the mix there. Now, what we usually do is we lock off this ability, right? Which can actually decrease the duration of bomb countdowns. But because the Bomb with the Dreadhorn takes an extra turn, you actually get the bombs to detonate anyway, right? With the ways that is skill cycle. So I just thought it would be really nice synergy to pair Nishak with this new champion, take Arbiter out of the equation, maybe put a Runekeeper Dazzdirk as my increased attack option, which I don't need to build with accuracy or anything, and I'll be well on my way to make a really cool Bommel team without the need for my Arbiter. or just for anyone progressing. Like, I can imagine her being phenomenal for anyone that doesn't have a Nishak. Maybe pair her with a Geomancer strategy, right? And just get the job done more efficiently. But it's just half the value of the damage, but better than other bomb options out there. Because Nishak is double damage, she's 50%. On the A1 with the fire shot, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of decreasing the duration of bomb debuffs by 1 turn, and also has a 25% chance of placing another bomb on a random enemy, which will instantly detonate when placed on a random enemy. All bomb debuffs placed by this skill is going to be 20% more damage, so not the 50% like the A2. Also places a revive on death on herself upon killing enemies that's in bombs. So is she going to be a game changer for most people's accounts? I don't think so. Is she going to be a fun, quirky champion to bring into these bomb meta teams for Bomb with the Dreadhorn? Absolutely. Can she be used for like arena progression? I could see it, but it'd be really hard to get there, maybe in the end game. And mainly just like Faction Wars, Doom Tower. I'm a big fan of this one. Now, leading into the next options. Now, you guys let me know what you feel about this. We've got 3 epics, okay? So we've got 2 Void epics and that Isbeil, the dwarf one that we just spoke about. I'm not sure how they're going to do this because we've only got 3 epics and you need 4 for a fusion, right? So are they going to do like 2 Void epics and then 2 of the Force dwarf? Or are they just going to do 4 of the Force dwarf and not include any of the Void epics? Now, I'm not sure how they're going to set this one up, but if I was to guess, I would say 2 Void epics and 2 Force ones. But that's really going to determine which keeps that we're facing for the potions, right? Or which ones that you're going for if you're not going for the fusion itself, which is understandable. But I would definitely entice players to go for this fusion. I'll discuss why in a second, but he is a phenomenal one for many areas in this game. Now, Fren'zi the Cackler. He reminds me of a hyena. We've got like the whole Lion King vibes going on. We've got the laughing hyenas. We've got Pumbaa, you know? Like, it's all going on. But Fren'zi is actually, I'd say like a play on Ninja. In a sense, I'm not going to say like Ninja 2.0, he's going to, you know, drastically change players' accounts. But Jaws of Flame attacks 3 times at random, right? Which is kind of similar to Ninja in a sense, those random hits. And each has a 100% chance of placing a HP burn and will fill this champion's turn meter by 10% for each burn debuff placed by this skill. Now, pretty decent in itself, but what you're going to be focusing on here is the Searing Hack, where it attacks 1 enemy and has a 50% chance, with no extra book values, of instantly activating HP burn debuffs on the target. Now, for me, the only problem with this champion is the low chances. I'm not a fan of 50%, and it's not like attacks 1 enemy 2 times and each has a chance of instantly activating. You literally got 1 shot at it to instantly activate, right? So, can she be good in ally attack compositions or counter attack? Absolutely, I think that's definitely a possibility. But it's really nice to just see another burn activator, even though it's not like a crazy chance. But remember, we just have to rely on a default skill here, not active skills. So you guys let me know what you feel about this one. Could be a new clan boss DPS, potentially. We just have to be wary of this 10% turn meter fill, which can only be 20% if you've got Master Hexa Masteries. So you can place like the 3-turn duration. So it should be easy to speed tune. We do have an AoE provoke as well, being a Void Affinity champion. So if you're looking for a provoke option, a pretty decent one here. And increases this champion's defense by 2% each time a HP burn debuff is activated on enemies, and will reset each round and stacks up to 20%. So pretty decent champion, a Void one. You guys let me know what you feel about these. And a next one is going to be... Shall we speak about a legendary first before the next epic? Yeah, why not? Let's go. This one is going to blow your mind, guys. Look at this. Jagg Bonesaw, Spirit Affinity, attack-based champion from the Orcs faction. And look at this. He's literally got spikes in his head. He's like he's hacked his own head and he's still alive. He's nuts. But basically, when I was reading his kit beforehand, he reminded me like a opposite play of King Garrog in a sense. Now, it all comes down to this lacerating Tempest, where he attacks all enemies, and before attacking removes all buffs from all enemies, and damage will increase by 5% for each buff removed, followed by a turn meter fill upon killing enemies, right? Now, this could be good for arena, but Polymorph is going to be like, hello there, we're trying to take you down, of course. But even for like, I really look at this champion as not just a PvP nuker. I look at him as a PvE god in a sense, and let's just speak about the other part of his kits here. So Shred the Flesh attacks 1 enemy 2 times, but before attacking transfers all debuffs from this champion to a target, and the damage from the first hit increases by 10% for each debuff transferred. Now, what I really love about this skill here is, think about the dragon, right? On the hard mode. He's putting all of the poisons on Jagg Bonesaw. He's then going to send them all back, very similar to Jing1's A1, in a sense, or someone like Helia. And you're going to be able to place all of those poisons back onto that boss, alongside all of this damage increase for each debuff transferred. So I think he's going to be very cool if you build him in the right way to survive the initial onslaught, to actually be very good in the dragon, or wherever you want to send debuffs back. I was even thinking about the Nether Spider potentially. Like, when all of the poisons go up, let him go first, send all of those poisons back, and then also apply this debuff spread effect to taking those 2 random debuffs from the target and then placing them on all enemies. And the damage of the second hit will be increased by 5% for each debuff transferred. So it's like he's dealing a lot of single target damage to these boss encounters, but he's also sending debuffs back and then spreading debuffs if there's minions in the equation, like the Eternal Dragon or Nether Spider, right? But pretty cool here. I'm a pretty big fan of this. Maybe even for like Shogun's Grove in a sense, if you want to send like drop defense back or something. It's unique. It's unique. He also has stealing of 10% of the target's turn meter and a 25% chance of repeating this skill on his default, which is actually pretty nice. There's no buff chances, so you don't have to book this up in a sense, unless you just want damage. But once again, fulfilling PvE roles. Think about the Dark Fae, right? This is where the synergy comes around. You can open up with this AoE skill here. You can send debuffs back whether a leech comes through from the Dark Fae. Put it on those, right? And then you could just use Razor Wheel to steal the turn meter of the boss itself, or the Fire Knight, for instance, right? For progression. Now, if you pull this guy early game, going to be really cool, but there is ways that he can be carried to the end game. And that comes down to the Rev Up the Sword passive, where at the start of this champion's turn, he'll place a 50% increased accuracy buff and an increased crit damage buff on himself for 1 turn, on a 0 turn cooldown. This is going to happen every single turn that he takes. And this is going to amplify his accuracy, so you can focus a bit more on damage and then remove those buffs that you may want to do. But also because at the end of this champion's turn, we'll place a decreased crit rate. Hear this out, guys. And decreased crit damage buff on the enemy with the highest crit damage for 1 turn. Now, what is the thing that we're looking for in the Shogun's Grove? We want decreased crit rate for consistency. You might want to take this into the Demon Door clan boss, right? To decrease the crit rate and the crit damage, or send some debuffs back in a sense in some of those scenarios. And, you know, there's lots of quirky ways that you could use this every single time he takes a turn to your advantage, right? I'm a big fan of him. I like him. For a Spirit Affinity champion that can be used for PvP or PvE. I probably spoke about this dude way too long. But, you know, I like to give my overall thoughts on these dudes while I'm speaking about them. But you guys let me know. Are you a fan of this one? Am I overhyping it? I'm actually pretty hyped to try this guy out. Can't wait to get a video out on him. And next one is going to be, if I can remember, Aeila. There we go. We found the Void Epic. So Isla Lifebraid. So this is the other one that I thought might be a part of the fusion, but we will just have to wait, as Raid won't spill the beans on who's actually going to be a part of this fusion. So Hailing Haven. Places a block debuff buff on all allies for 2 turns, then heals all allies by 30% of their max HP on a 4-turn cooldown. Now, this is a pretty significant skill to have in one ability, blocking incoming debuffs, healing allies, and keeping this consistent to flow with the Song Strike, which actually has an increased accuracy on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. So the pairing of these two could be very good for the Hydra boss for progression. And has a 75% chance, 100% chance once booked of placing a sleep debuff. So this could be utilized for maybe the Sand Devil's Necropolis, depending on the speed tunes that you're relying on. On the default skill, restores destroyed max HP of this champion or the ally with the most destroyed HP by 20% of their destroyed max HP. So we've got a restoration skill on this A1. And here we go, guys. This is where the unique factor comes in for this one as well. So with the rhythmic flow, we've actually got a new mechanic, which I'm pretty sure we've never seen before. Has a 12% chance of activating a give extra turn effect on this champion or an ally using any active skill, okay? Now, we have extra turn mechanics in the game, for like this champion, for instance, but this is giving an extra turn to other allies. Now, it is on a 1-turn cooldown, and if there are multiple champions, you cannot, you know, only one will activate. But over the course of a long encounter, can you imagine how many extra turns you're going to be seeing from those 12% proccing? It's going to be phenomenal, right? Like, think about any extra burns you can place, or a clutch provoke from a champion to lock down the Head of Decay, or another max HP ability. This is basically like a mini Relentless for all of your team from this rhythmic flow. It's really unique, man. So having all of this synergy together, I'm a pretty big fan of Aeila Lifebraid. I like her. Pretty good. Last but not least, so we spoke about... Wait, I'm just trying to count in my head before I forget. There's going to be 6 champions in total, including the Fusion. So we've got Isbeil. We spoke about the Legendary dudes. That's 2. Jagg Bonesaw. Aeila. We talked about Fren'zi. Yep. So the final one. Here we go, guys. This is the big daddy. You ready? Lizardman. We have got ourselves a Fyr-gun in Sulfurion. Now, this dude looks amazing, right? Some salamander looking to burn some dudes out there. Now, this guy is actually... I didn't know what to feel about him at first. And now that I've actually thought about it, he is going to be an absolute menace for PvE encounters. Now, what it comes down to is a HP burn debuff on all enemies for 3 turns. Instantly activates those burns on all enemies in the same skill, guys, so you don't have to cycle abilities or like place a burn from somebody else. It's like place a burn, instantly activate, maybe pair of an attack, and boom, you'll be exploding both the Hydra boss, the spiderlings, the hard spider, you name it. It's going to be really good if that's what you're searching for. Then he will place a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, but it's actually capped by 25,000 HP for the value of the shield, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you're kind of relying on those multi-targets like the spider to get the true value, right? Also on the A1, fills this champion's turn meter by 15%, but will also fill the turn meters of all allies except this champion by 10% when attacking targets under a HP burn, which obviously makes sense of his kit as well. Rise from Ashes revives all dead allies, 50% HP and 40% turn meter, and grants an extra turn in the same ability, so you could potentially lead straight into the Blazing Barrier and place that shield buff back up just to support your allies, right? Now here comes the essay. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll like briefly break it down. So basically the first part will fill turn meters of all allies by 5% for the burns that's placed. Pretty decent. Will also heal allies by 5%, but will only be 1% against the spider dungeons. Of course, there's like many spiderlings. They're trying to counter the crazy heals that you might be able to see. We also get a decreased resistance on targets that have HP burn removed. And then whenever this champion is, or an ally is killed under a burn, will fill this champion by 20%, and an increase of speed by 7 for each burn debuff. Now, being able to increase this champion's speed by 7 for each burn is actually phenomenal, right? He's going to be gaining a lot here. But the turn meter fills is the part that I'm really a big fan of. It's like burns, burn detonations, shields. For the burns that you're placing, you're filling turn meters. You're then doing more turn meters. And this is really going to lead you to more damage over time in like the Hydra boss. So I think for Hydra and Spiders is the 2 places that I would be looking towards using him. And then revives all dead allies as well. So, a pretty decent Void Legendary coming out here for burn option in the game. And then last but not least, of course, is going to be Emic Trunkheart, who I've spoken about in the past. But he's going to be a very good clan boss and killable champion on a 4-turn cooldown, coinciding with a taunt buff to potentially determine your stun targets if you pair it with like unkillable. Maybe even with like a Man-Eater and an Emic Trunkheart could come up some really cool teams potentially. We've also got shield buffs for protection as well. Attacks all enemies, places a shield as well, and decreases the cooldowns of allied skills. We've got this quirky passive that can kind of manipulate the cooldowns of random skills on an attacker for maybe like the PvP encounters. Going to be very strong to annoy your opponents. And then also this shield that I believe is having very crazy values with Corpulent Cadaver. Now, I'm pretty sure you're going to see every content creator covering this. I'm not going to be doing it yet, just in case anything gets changed, you know. But I'm seeing some crazy things coming out from that synergy. That's just bonkers, and I couldn't even fathom it in my head. It was nuts. But there we go. The shield increases the duration of, or the value of the shields as well. It's a very good A1 to just annoy your opponents as it just grows over time, right? So briefly showing off the clan boss section now, if we head into here. Let's just say that you go into the hard mode, right? I've actually demonstrated some of these behind the scenes just to double check what was happening. But it seems like if you've got a team that already happened, right, and you've not changed anything, or any of the presets or any of the gear, it seems like you could just quick battle instantly, which I wasn't actually aware of. I thought it was going to work in a way where, let's just say you do a 1-key on the Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you'd be able to carry that same damage with a quick battle for all of the other difficulties, which is understandable. But I didn't realize that you can actually instantly quick battle instantly, like without actually having to run another key the next day in a sense. Like I ran this quick battle before, or straight after I claimed the chest. I did the battle yesterday, and then I've gone in to do it again today, this morning, and then it was allowing me to quick battle once again. Now, just so you guys don't get any misconceptions, let's just say you do a 1 key on the hard difficulty. You'll be able to quick battle the hard, the normal, and the easy, right? But you won't be able to carry that same damage, of course, into the brutal clan boss, okay? Also, it's worth noting you have to have a full unkillable team in order to enable quick battle access. Now, what this means is, let's just say for players that relying on a team that has a setup, let's just say you've got a team pre-set up like this, you do your setups like this, right? If you could do a full auto 1 key, you'll be able to enable quick access. But let's just say for players that, let's just go into full auto, just so you guys can get a glimpse of what I'm trying to say. So you go in here with your composition. This is a spider team. It's not a clan boss team, okay? It's not a clan boss team. It's probably going to do some decent damage here. Look at Newt. Boom, boom, bang. And there's a bunch of teams out there where people click off auto. They come in here, they do their second set of skills, right? To make sure that everything follows the turn cycles that they need. Or whether that be a 3-turn setup, a 4-turn setup, even a 5 or 6-turn setup, right? This is not going to work as a full auto comp in a sense. So it means that some players might have to revisit and change their clan boss teams and look for something that's full auto worthy to enable the quick access feature. Now, I'm not sure what I feel about this personally. I feel like if you can reach a 1 key, players should be able to just be able to do it anyway, right? But even away from that, like for someone that does a 2 key on the Ultra Nightmare clan boss, let's just say they do a 60 million. Why can't you just still have quick, easy access to put 60 million or whatever that may be into the rest of these, right? Why does it have to be a 1 key? I understand that you have to have a benchmark. Players need to have something to strive for. So I can see both sides of the pond. But you guys let me know what you feel about this. I think the main thing that I can't get around is the preset thing. Like, if some players want to manual their first turns and then click full auto, I believe that you should still be able to have some access to this, in a sense. But then again, it's like, can the game remember that? So I might be wrong. It's a really grey area. I'm not too sure. Like, overall, do I like the whole theory of it and saving a bit of time? Yes, because I'm more endgame. But for players that's kind of banking on 2 keys and stuff like that, even if it is full auto, let's just say you did a 2 key at 60 million each a key, right? Surely you'll be able to 1 key with those same comps in these difficulties, right? Or at least have the chance to do so. How it works is, let's just say we go into hard. We do a quick battle with this team, right? Or something. It's going to tell you how much damage we're going to do with this comp. Boom. It would have done 42 million damage. We can do the same thing again. Here we go. Quick battle. I'm actually interested to know if I change my team now. So I did a 1 key. Okay. I can still quick battle with a different team. These are all things that I wasn't like noting beforehand. I thought it had to be that exact comp to enable a quick battle. Or is it because I've already completed it? Wait, so let's just see. I haven't done easy yet, so let's just see if it lets me do it here. It does. With it, wait, so if I click to this team now, I've not done this one yet. It does. Is it just determining to say that they already know that I can do it in a sense? It's a very weird one. I'd have to like play with this a little bit more. But you guys let me know what you feel about this overall. Like, am I going to be using it? Absolutely, because I can 1 key Ultra Nightmare. But I don't know, it just feels a bit upsetting for players that can't, right? But then it strives you to want to get it, so I understand. All right, so as promised, let's just go into the, I don't know, we go to Doom Tower or something. We're going to like a low floor, just so we can go through here. Go recently used, just so you guys can see the how the champions look in game. We go Hyena, boom, boom. Where's the last one? Here we go. So this is the, well, I guess we could just do all of them. So we go into the weaken. If we place the weaken on everybody, which we did. Oh, we didn't. We'll try it again on the next one. Here's the burn ability that will detonate in the same skill. Look at all of those burns, are beautiful. Here's the block debuffs coming out from this one. Let's see how which one should we look at? We look at the provoke from the hyena. Pretty average. This dude has some really cool ones. I think it's just A2. So watch this. It's like the soul comes out from the ground. Boom, boom. And there's the decreased crit rate and crit damage on a random ally with the highest crit damage. So let them cycle their abilities. We go on a 2-turn cooldown now. And this is the revive ability, but we should be getting a turn meter boost on all allies with that A1 there. Pretty decent. And here is the well, we can see the bomb animation, but it's like a plunder. See that? And then there's like a debuff transfer effect, placing another bomb on another enemy. So over the course of a battle, you can see where this can be really valuable, right? Here's the increased accuracy. Boom. That's the burn ability with the 10 meter fill. I didn't realize it was a 10 meter fill for all allies there. Maybe I read that wrong. And there's the removing of buffs from this dude here, which is why I feel like he'll be pretty cool. So here we go. So that's just a single target 10 meter fill because we didn't have the burn zone. Nice. Boom. I actually want to read the 10 meter fill of this one again. Look at that. Every single turn, guys. You get amplifying buffs on him and then also placing the debuffs on the enemy with the random one there. So now we're going to try it again here on floor 1 again, just to see the animations of the new Fusion champion. He's actually got some pretty cool ones. So if we go in with this one here, AoE, boom. Look at those vine quakes coming out of the ground. Pretty cool, right? And then the taunt buff one is actually, we'll try the A1. I believe the taunt is just like pretty basic. But here's the A1, boom. Vine just comes out, slashes up that fearmonger. Pretty cool animations there, right? But yeah, I guess that's going to be all for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like, subscribe button. Let me know which one you was most of a fan of, apart from the Fusion itself, of course. Like, which one did you felt like had the most quirky kit or one that you could see yourself using in the foreseeable future? Have an amazing rest of your week. I will be showcasing all of these champions on the channel, so be sure to hit that like, subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on a video soon. Peace.